So let's get into number one. And this is a great transition from you all meeting 30 to 40 new people today. People and how people play a part into the growth and development of your business. So you guys got to watch a little bit of my story through this great documentary that Athlete's Foot did on me. And if you know anything about my story, a lot of people look at my career and they would say, you're a celebrity photographer. You work with celebrities. I usually challenge that often. If you go back to 2012, the people I was really working with, the people that really changed my life were as local as any of us in this room. It just so happens that we all really kind of blew up. You know what I mean? If you know my journey with Metro Boomin, I met Metro Boomin at Morehouse dorm room. He was in the dorm, doing homework. You know, that's when I met him. If you knew about Young Scooter at the time I met him, he was as local as any of your favorite local rappers are here right now. He was not a superstar. The same could be applied to the Migos, Rich the Kid, Rich Homie Quan, Young Thug, all these people that you see in my catalog and you say, wow, these are all celebrities and he must shoot celebrities. No, I was working with people that were on the come up, just like I was. So this principle is something that's been taught often, it's been said often, and I think it's almost starting to be said so much that it can potentially start to be a cliche, but it's the facts. It's you need to network and collaborate laterally. It's the people next to you, the people in this room that actually will probably allow your work and your vision to be seen at the greatest level you can imagine. And I'll give you a great example of that. At the beginning of my career, a lot of people don't really know this. The first Atlanta rapper that really ever took me on the road, allowed me to be in their space like outside of Atlanta was Young Jeezy. How many people know I work with Young Jeezy? Few people, not a lot. I worked with Young Jeezy the day I got that call, the day that happened. I was ecstatic. This is TM 103 Young Jeezy, still at the top of his game. You know, in Atlanta, it doesn't get much bigger than that. You know, I'm coming out the gates with Jeezy as, you know, potentially my first client. I thought I was on, you know, to be honest, at that point. It's over. I'm traveling. The first place we went was NBA All-Star Weekend in Orlando, Florida. I'm like, it's a wrap. Like, everybody about to know me. I'm about to be out of there. Was probably the least, I mean, it's only a handful of y'all to even know I did that. So it's probably one of the least, like, progressive moves that ever happened in my career. It did absolutely nothing for me. The reason why it did nothing for me is simply because at that time, Young Jeezy's brand was so much bigger than mine that I really couldn't show the value of my work through our collaboration together. If I took a picture of Jeezy, it wasn't, oh, that's a Kirk picture of Jeezy, that's a photo of Young Jeezy. Or that's Young Jeezy. You don't even see my style, creativity, or anything implemented in that work. At the same time, it's very difficult to break and gain a high level of respect from someone who has 10, 20 years in the game, like he was, someone that's achieved so much when they look at you. It's very easy to get the exposure. So I'm giving you a good look, or I'm doing you a favor type of energy. Not to say that that's the only way he looked at me, but quite frankly, that's pretty much was. He didn't have to take the time to get to know me. He didn't have to take the time to respect what I had going on. Rightfully so, he had earned his spot at where he was at. I was still trying to get on. The days I spent with Jeezy, I was called cameraman. I never was called Cam. And that's the easiest thing, right? Call me Cam. Could be short for cameraman. I don't even think he knew my name. I know he didn't know my name because I just worked with him recently and he didn't know that we worked together. And that's even further an example, right? But when we work this time, it's all love. It's a blessing, right? And I did his latest book cover for his memoir that's coming out next month, so make sure y'all get that. I say that to say the relationship that I built and was able to work with when I was working with Jeezy, like, it really didn't fulfill any desires or goals I had because it was almost impossible for me to actually penetrate through his audience or fan base for them to notice me and notice my creativity because he was too established already. So I was just a cameraman. At that point in time, if I'm being honest, I was very replaceable. no matter how great of a photographer I was, there was too much already established in his career and his repertoire and his work ethic. It really wouldn't have did nothing for me. I worked with Jeezy for a couple days, weeks, whatever. It didn't really lead to much because there was no way for him to see my value, to be honest. When I came home, I started working with the first artist that really allowed me to go up there was Young Scooter. And think about the magnitude of a Jeezy to a Young Scooter, especially at that time. I went from all-star weekends where Jeezy's probably getting 50, 60. At that time, the money wasn't as crazy as it is now. He's probably getting 50, 60, 70,000 a show. The first show I went to with Young Scooter, he made like $1,500. It was that local. But the work that I did with Scooter impacted and changed the whole trajectory of my career. We were much more eye to eye. We were much more on that level. He trusted my vision. He had to take the time to know my name. When we traveled, we were in a truck together. There was no separation of me and him. I was a part of his entourage. I was a part of his team. My value was able to shine. When I worked with Scooter, I was able to provide value in ways outside of even just the camera work. He leaned on me like I was a focal member of his team, from marketing ideas to designing covers, graphics, to everything that came apart. I was able to really work with him and show multiple different facets of what I'm able to present and bring to the table. And because Scooter was establishing his own image and brand, when people saw the work, they didn't have a lot of other examples to compare it to. So I was really building the image of Young Scooter. So now as I work with Scooter, he goes from $1,500 a show to $35,000 a show, which was one of the last shows we did together. And at that time, if you know, and I'm gonna scream it proudly because I love Young Scooter, he was bigger than any artist in Atlanta. This is before Migos, before Rich Homie Quan, before Young Thug. It was Young Scooter. And the work that we did and we built together, we both were able to benefit off of that love. And that really positioned my brand at a level that allowed me to catapult to another level. When I met Metro at that beginning time, he damn near was like, I know you. Like, I know who you are. And that was because of the work that I was able to do with Young Scooter. So I say that to say, don't overlook that gem as just a cliche thing. I know it's so easy to see the light and see an artist that's, super high and you're like, yo, I want to work with them. And a lot of times you overlook the creativity that's right next to you that actually gives you the freedom, the flexibility, the energy, to grow and to show you what you can do. It's so easy to want to run to that light, but it's so much more fulfilling to create that light. And you can take that as one gem from my career and you can see it throughout my career. It's one of the reasons why I like working with up-and-coming talent, even to this day. I just love that connection point, and that's why I still do it. And that's why the studio's kind of built off of that foundation, what we do here. So once I kind of went through that path of working with Scooter and then Metro, and like I said, a lot of those artists when I work with them. When I worked with Travis Scott, no one knew who he was. I'm talking to the point where we're walking through the streets of Atlanta and no one knows who we are. I remember me and Metro took Young Thug to Clark Atlanta's fashion show. Like, we're just walking in the fashion show, chilling. Like, it's on camera. No one knows who he is. They're playing his music and no one even knew who he was. Like, it's that early stages that you got to really trust and believe not only in your own vision, but believe in others and see vision in others and have that vision to say, this person going to blow, and I'm willing to double down and bet on that, and I'm going to ride that wave with them, and we're going to build something together. So I think when you're looking for collaborators, team members, people that you can work with, it's really important that you do pay attention to certain key attributes, and you can do a great assessment of yourself first. I think one of the biggest life principles I have, and this goes into like my conflict resolution, my emotional stability, like how I deal with everything, is I'm like a mirror talk individual. Like, I truly believe the world is a way more simple if we all just focus on ourselves to a high level. If you hold yourself accountable first and foremost, you will realize how simple the world could be. If everyone in this room would just focus on how they could be a better person, a more perfect person, we would have more people striving for perfection and less drama and BS that happens in this world. But we all have to take that self-accountability. It's, Michael Jackson, man in the mirror talk. As a result of that, I'm very critical of myself. I'm critical of my strengths. I'm able to identify my weaknesses. And I don't have to sugarcoat with myself. I can tell myself, you're good at this, but you ain't good at that, bro. That ain't what you do well. I think when you're looking for collaborators, you're looking for people that can help take your vision to the next level, you have to know yourself first. You have to be able to assess the work that you do well, the things that you love to do, the things you don't like to do, the things that you just do naturally better than anybody else. Like, you've probably been doing that since you was a kid. You just naturally excelled at certain areas of life, and certain things came difficult to you. You need to be able to take an assessment of yourself very honestly. And as you assess yourself, you can learn what gaps and holes you need to fill. And that's the way that you collaborate with other individuals. If I know for myself, I can take assessment to myself. As you guys saw in that video of my story, I didn't think I was going to be a photographer. That took mirror assessment to see where my strengths are. And those strengths lie within my personality, things I'm attracted to, my environment, growing up in a photographer's home. I didn't know that was a reason, but obviously I was put there for a reason. I grew up in a photographer's home. My dad named me Cam. I grew up around cameras. And more importantly, it even reflects in my personality. Growing up, I was very quiet, very shy. I didn't talk to no one, but I'm very observant. I'm a very observant person. I can identify people. I know who's what. I know what's going on. I was like that in middle school to high school. I could tell you who's beefing with who dating who this, but I would never talk to people. I would never talk. And I feel like now, when I got into photography, I didn't realize how much of a skill set that was, to be able to visualize things and to see things like that. I didn't realize that that was all setting me up to be a better photographer. But I had to dig deep and learn more about myself, what I like to do, what I don't like to do. I don't like to really talk to people. I don't like to walk up on people. My first style of photography, I was a documentary photographer. I didn't pose people. I didn't have to tell people to do this, do that. That wasn't my style. If you look on the wall, Gucci, that photo is so famous, but that's a statement of my personality. I was hiding. He didn't know I took that photo of him. He's not even looking at me. Most of my early work, they didn't even look at me. I was taking a candid because that was more of my personality. And those things kind of reflect in your life. I grew up with an older brother. My brother is 3 years older than me. My brother, me and him, we basically mirrored the same life together. Wherever I was at, he was at. Whatever sport he played, I played. Whatever middle school, elementary school, high school he went to, I went to. We couldn't be more opposite individuals. And it's a reason why you can grow up in the same environment, the same lifestyle as somebody, and you're just implanted with things that you're attracted to that are completely different. You have to go find it. You got to assess it. You got to look inward and really find it out. He's a lot more outward than me. My brother's now a lot more disciplined in a lot of ways than me. He's a financial advisor now, right? He's responsible. You know what I mean? He does, I'm a little reckless at times. I like to live wild sometimes. He's much more responsible in a lot of ways, and it fits for his demeanor. But we have to, although we went through the same stuff, we're different, and I had to find out what made sense for me. He stayed home. He went to Towson University in Baltimore. He stayed close to family. He's been married for 10 plus years or so. Kids, family. We're opposites though. We grew up in the same type of thing. I'm here, I moved away from home, did my thing, I had to discover myself. So before you can find help in someone else, you gotta know what you need help with. And in order to know what you need help with, you need to assess and look inward at yourself. What are you good at? What are you bad at? What areas are you willing to improve at? Because some things you're bad at, but you're willing to improve. I just don't know how to do it yet, but I'm interested enough to want to do it. And there's certain areas I'm not good at it, and I don't care to be good at it. And that's okay. That's more than okay. You find collaborators that can fill those gaps for you. So even to this day, I have about 15, maybe close to 20 employees that work for me across different companies that we own. I look for people that are opposites of me in a lot of ways. So I'm quiet, I look for vibrant personalities. If you come around the studio, you feel the vibrant energy of the studio. It's the most opposite thing of me. I am not that. I'm not gonna walk in the room screaming and yelling, Keenan, Marley, they gonna walk in this room screaming and yelling if you give them a chance to. Like, that's that energy. But when you combine this together, you have a balance and you have a duality there that is strong. There's no weaknesses there. When we need to be chill, I step up. I can give a calming demeanor. When we need to break the ice and have energy, they can provide that. So when I was on set and when I entered set, I knew I needed that in my career. Because sometimes it's hard to break the ice with a rapper. Sometimes it's hard to break the ice with a client. It just depends on if personalities match. I knew I needed someone else that can be in those rooms with me where, man, it's on you, bro. His energy's, he gonna feed more into your energy. I'm too quiet for him. And sometimes the team members step in, they do their thing, and I'm able to kind of position myself. So I knew for me, I got to a point in my career probably around 2015 where I needed not only a confidence boost in myself, but I needed someone that can walk in a room and make my presence felt. Although I had did a lot of great work up at 2014, 2015, had traveled a lot, I would walk in rooms and people didn't even know they met me. I met Future about 5 times before he finally admitted that he knew me. Like, he introduced himself to me every single time. He used to annoy the shit out of me. Like, and then one time he gets on stage and says, I know Ken with the Morehouse. I'm like, how you know that, bro? I just seen you backstage, you asked me what's my name. Like, it's just wild. But I knew I didn't have that presence that left that mark on people at the beginning. I just knew it wasn't me. I wasn't that. I surrounded myself with people like that. I suggest you guys find those weaknesses that you have and look for collaborators that can help fill those gaps for you. And then you fill the gaps for them as well. And that's how you have a perfect bond. I would say also, though, as you start to extend further from just one collaborator to rooms of multiple, like when you get into a position that I'm in now where it's 15 to 20 of us, it is important, though, that you maintain your balance because you can get drowned out by your collaborators if you go too far left with working with people that are not like you. So you want to have a balance. That's something I had to learn. Like throughout some of my early parts of business, I'm walking in rooms and can't even recognize my business anymore because everyone is doing shit that I wouldn't do. Like, I would never do that. Like, you did what? But that's because through my weaknesses and through my learning, I had to learn, don't just go for opposites. Every now and then you need to balance it out with someone that does think like you and will act like you or has a demeanor like you so that you can still maintain your presence and your balance. But I'll leave you with that. Make sure you know who you are so you can know who to look out for when you work with people. And then I think once you start working with team members, the last level I would say with people is you just have to move with a level of professionalism and integrity. It really doesn't get much deeper than that. Like, you have to do good business. You have to do good business by people. You have to have a clean face card, and you have to have honesty and transparency within your business, not only with your customer base, but with the people that you decide to work with. There has to be a level of transparency all across the board. You have to be willing to have tough conversations. That's what makes you a true leader, is when you're able to get in front of things that can be issues on the back end and you can foresee problems. When you can understand personalities, you have to know how to work with people. Everybody doesn't receive information the same way. You can't yell at everybody. Some people you can yell at. Some people you can, what the fuck you doing? And there's some people that you gotta be like, let's think about how you did that, or what you think about this, can we do it that way? It's very important that you understand the team around you and that you always model and carry yourself as an example and a leader. And leadership is not meant for everybody. Everybody not designed to be a leader. And that comes with knowing yourself. Sometimes on the team it's important that you play the back seat. Sometimes you're not the leader in the room. And that doesn't make you less of an individual, less of a person, but for that particular collaboration, it's best that you take the lead because maybe this fits more of your energy and your style. There are plenty of times I work that way. Even to this day, I still work that way, where it's like, yo, this is your show, you got it. And I can sit back and still feel confident in that. So I think it's very important that you guys learn and develop true leadership skills. And leadership to me starts with leading by example and you being the example of what you want. You can't get mad at somebody else for showing up late. Let's say somebody showed up an hour late, but you showed up 10 minutes late. Both y'all late. You can't even point the finger if you were late. You know what I mean? If you didn't uphold your end of the bargain, you can't even look at no one else. You gotta hold yourself accountable. That's true leadership. And that's why people are gonna play such a major part in the development of your career, your craft, and how you get there. But a lot of the people, truly, especially at the stage that you guys are at right now, starts with yourself. And really mastering yourself and who you are, strengths and weaknesses, so that you can be the best collaborator or partner for whoever else you bring onto your team later on.